coming up on the 2nd of May from Times Square in Midtown Manhattan, in a terrific fight card that will be available worldwide on DAZN Pay-Per-View. Fatal Fury in Times Square, a trio of interesting prize fights that should provide a very entertaining night of boxing. Ryan Garcia will return to action in the headliner, where he is set to square off against Romero. In the co-main event, Garcia's recent rival Devin Haney is scheduled to have a showdown with Jose Ramirez. And to kick things off, Teaimo Lopez will put his WBO junior welterweight title on the line against Arnold Barbosa Jr. The undefeated 33-year-old Barbosa is coming off a razor-thin 12-round split decision victory against Jack Catterall. That victory earned Barbosa the vacant WBO interim title, which ultimately earned him the shot here against Lopez. Prior to that, Barbosa won a 10-round unanimous decision against Ramirez, who is scheduled to face Haney on the card here. The 27-year-old takeover is the reigning WBO and Ring Magazine champion, and he will be making the third defense of his championship against Barbosa. Lopez is a textbook example of a boxer who has a tendency to run hot and cold. Lopez exceeded expectations when he put forth a spirited winning effort against the highly regarded Vasily Lomachenko in one fight, and then in his very next fight, he disappointed when he put forth a lackluster losing effort against George Kambosos Jr. His reign at 140 began when he beat the reigning king of the division, Josh Taylor, and Lopez has since defended against Jermaine Ortiz and also against Steve Claggett. The big question in this one is whether or not Barbosa is talented enough to step up his game, especially in the event Lopez is not entirely switched on and focused. Lopez previously underestimated Kambosos, and he underperformed in that one. But on the flip side, Kambosos was highly determined in that one, and he raised his game to new heights, where he was able to largely outwork and out-hustle Lopez enough to win by split decision. Barbosa has very good all-around boxing ability. He has a nice jab, a solid understanding of range, he moves well, and he has the talent that he can often dictate the pace and rhythm to his liking. Barbosa also enters the ring with the mindset and confidence that comes with the territory of being undefeated. It is also worth noting that Barbosa has 2 wins in the last 6 months, whereas Lopez will have been out of action about 11 months come fight night. So in answer to the question, I do believe Barbosa is talented and determined enough to step up his game. And if Lopez isn't totally dialed in for this one, then Barbosa could perform well enough to edge this one out and score the upset. I, however, believe that Lopez will come into this one highly focused and determined, where I believe the unique setting right in the midst of New York City will be something that has Lopez mighty motivated. And at his best, Lopez is one of the most talented boxers out there today. I do believe Barbosa will make a strong account of himself, but I think it will simply be the case of the better man winning. For my official prediction, I am taking Teaimo Lopez by a close but comfortable 12-round decision, somewhere along the lines of 116 to 112, perhaps with a knockdown or point deduction along the way. The 32-year-old Ramirez has only 2 losses in his professional career, the most recent being the aforementioned loss against Barbosa his last time out. Ramirez had also previously lost against Taylor, and that one was for all the marbles. Ramirez lost the fight by 12-round unanimous decision, and he also lost his unified WBC WBO Junior Welterweight Championship. That victory marked Taylor as the division's second undisputed world champion in the modern 4-belt era. But the 2 losses aside, Ramirez has been a consistent operator near the top of the division. Haney is 26 years old, and he is the former undisputed world lightweight champion. Haney holds a pair of victories against Kambosos and a very close victory against Lomachenko. Haney also won the WBC junior welterweight title against Regis Prograis. In his most recent fight, Haney had initially lost the fight by 12-round majority decision against Garcia. Haney had a strong first half, but was dropped 3 times later in that fight. After Garcia subsequently tested positive for a banned substance, the verdict was officially overturned and changed to a no contest. The big question in this one, I think, largely surrounds Haney's confidence level going in. Prior to fighting Garcia, Haney was widely regarded as one of the very best boxers competing today, and for damn good reason. Officially, Haney is still undefeated, where officially the loss against Garcia was overturned as if it never happened. At the same time, regardless of what happened in an unofficial capacity, the fact remains that it still happened in reality. Haney was dropped multiple times where he was battered around by Garcia. Has Haney's confidence taken a big hit? Or will Haney remain undeterred by what happened, knowing the verdict was overturned and that he showed tremendous heart and courage in that one even at a disadvantage? If Haney's confidence has slipped from the championship mindset that made him great, Ramirez is exactly the type of guy who may be able to exploit that, which could provide Haney further reason to doubt himself. I tend to think this will be another good and competitive boxing match. And at the end of the day, I believe Haney will go in there with the same championship mindset that enabled him to become an elite prize fighter in the first place. So for my official prediction, I am taking Haney by a 12-round decision, somewhere in the 117-111 or 116-112 range, where I believe Ramirez will have some moments, but that Haney will dictate the terms far more often than not. The 29-year-old Romero is the former WBA champion at 140, and he is another top guy on the card who has only suffered 2 losses in his professional career. He was stopped in his bout against Tank Davis, and more recently, he was stopped in his fight against Pitbull Cruz. Rolly got outgunned by 2 powerhouses, but he still remains a powerhouse in his own right. In his most recent fight, Romero won a 10-round unanimous decision against Manuel Jaimez. Garcia is 26 years old, and he was coming off of the best performance in his career against Haney. The initial victory was, of course, overturned, but even before that happened, Garcia was ineligible to win Haney's WBC title because he missed weight and was 3 pounds over. The fact that the fight is officially a no contest, Garcia has a lot of pressure to perform and win without traces of a banned substance tainting the victory and having it overturned. It's an interesting situation because despite coming off a career best performance, there are a lot of questions and Garcia has something to prove. Beyond the fact that Garcia has pressure to regain credibility, Garcia is already a bit inconsistent at times, and he doesn't always seem to remain focused with the best approach. Despite the solid effort against Haney, Garcia has the tools that there was still a lot of room for improvement. The same can be said of Haney, who likewise has the potential to perform much better than he did in that one. In his only loss to date, the questionable decision to force a firefight with Tank rather than box worked against him. Romero is talented enough, skilled enough, and powerful enough that he can make things very difficult for Garcia, especially if Ryan gets reckless, as he sometimes does. I think Garcia will be out for redemption, fully focused on the task at hand, and I think he's just going to be too darn fast. So for this one, I am taking Garcia by 7th round stoppage, where I believe it will be a compelling matchup for as long as it lasts. The Times Square event provides a nice showcase opportunity for 6 extremely talented boxers in the range of 140-147, and it should provide for a very entertaining card. This event will even feature the triumphant return of Jim Lampley, who in my opinion is one of the very best to ever do ringside commentary. But the winners of these fights will logically want to mix and match following the card. And in the event Haney and Garcia both win, which is far from a given, but if they both win, I have to believe a rematch would make a lot of sense with tremendous fan interest. If Lopez wins as well, a fight between him and either of those guys would also make for a great showdown. So once again, for my official predictions, I am taking Lopez by decision against Barbosa, Haney by decision against Ramirez, and Garcia by stoppage against Romero. I'm not exactly going out on a limb here, as these are the 3 favorites going in. At the same time, I cannot help but think that at least one minor upset is forthcoming. And given my track record and the fact that I do believe the 3 favorites will win, perhaps it's more likely we even get 2 upsets here, maybe even 3. After all, what the hell do I know? I ain't exactly Quasimodo over here. But whatever happens, I am extremely fired up for the event. Best of luck to all 6 boxers competing on the card. This should produce one hell of a show. The 2nd of May, in a card that will be streamed worldwide on DAZN Pay-Per-View, Fatal Fury in Times Square. 3 great matchups that should provide a fun night of boxing. Who do you think will win these fights? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy on the Ring from Rummy's Corner.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.